Hey, welcome to the GridCast. It's a holiday special, everybody. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Happy Christmas Kwanzaa is how I like to say it.
Christmas Kwanzaa.
Christmas Kwanzaa.
I like that.
I am your host, Danny Cox, and with me is my co-host, and he's a box owner and a grid enthusiast. And he keeps trying to show me his grid boner underneath the mistletoe. His name is Conan Bruce. Conan.
Hey, welcome everybody. Hey, so every episode, hopefully, people will keep giving us beer. Hey, I don't know if you guys can hear that music in the background. That's very festive. So Bobby from Little Rock, Arkansas. I chose it because I'm a little partial to Arkansas, if you can't hear my accent. Anyway, Bobby from Little Rock, Arkansas, hit us up on Twitter and said, hey, dude, why don't you guys go with a classic for Christmas and go with Guinness? So we got the Guinness. We did a couple of Jameson shots before the episode just to knock the dust off.
Yeah, just to kind of loosen things up a little bit.
But Guinness, if you guys don't know, Guinness is the only beer you want to drink from a can. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because it has the CO2 cartridge in it or nitrogen cartridge. I don't know. Somebody
and I have to kind of give a little bit of a hint here. I'm Irish. So I have a little,
and I'm Scottish.
I'm a little impartial here. I like Guinness brand, or I like Irish brand. So this is going to be a little good just on the scale, just because I'm Irish.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I'm not biased.
I'm biased, and I'm openly say I'm biased.
It's kind of like nutty motor oil.
It's a little better than that.
No, it actually tastes like mother's milk.
God, I love it. You know what that reminds me of is car bombs. I wish we had the correct ingredients here for a car bomb.
Next year.
Okay, but
all right. So we got we got to do the score real quick.
So I'm gonna give it a little higher than what we had last time from Gary, from San Francisco. So I'm gonna say 70 for me.
Oh, Danny's a 70. You know what? I think that's a good score. I'm in a 70 range. It's not a magnificent beer. I mean, it is Irish.
Hey, Conan, can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
I'm grabbing his ass, Tyler's ass right now.
That's not a good thing. All right.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Wish we could get that on camera. So you know why I chose 70?
Why?
I can't do math. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go.
You're not a math magician?
I am not. Bobby, I hope I spelled that right. We're gonna go with a 70 because I like that. So we got a 70. So far we're moving up the scale. Hopefully somebody can send us a beer that'll go down the scale.
Yeah.
We'll try it out.
There's not many beers that I don't like, though. That's a problem.
All right, so what's going on this episode, Danny?
So Quadrant 1, it's a recap of the American Open. So we were at the American Open all last weekend and ran into, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. But it was amazing. Ran into a lot of NPGL athletes who were competing. Also, a lot of people who are interested in competing in the NPGL as well, who's never stepped a toe into the functional fitness world, but they're really excited to give it a shot. So
yeah, it was a lot of great athletes. I noticed that the overlap between sports is crazy. So powerlifting is my sport background when it comes to the barbell stuff, and so I was watching a lot of the powerlifting. So the USAPL had their American Open.
And they were loud and fun and crazy right next to the USAW stuff.
Yeah, powerlifting is, because we're used to being like in somebody's basement, right? We're not used to being in a big Hilton in Washington, D.C. I mean, that was incredible to see the sport of powerlifting get raised up. It was fun having weightlifting literally on one side and powerlifting on the other, 2 platforms for each, announcers for both. You even did some live commentary.
Yeah, I did
online.
Live commentating for the 75+ A girls and 105B
guys
crazy, on Sunday.
Man.
It was awesome.
And there was literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming and going, all kinds of vendors. Caffeine and Kilos was there.
Yeah, which, by the way, they're in Quadrant 2. So Danny and Charlie from Caffeine and Kilos is our interview for Quadrant 2, which I know is a little bit different than how we normally do it, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're always going to be changing it up a little bit. I mean,
Can't help it.
Exactly. So here's the thing. So let's just get into Quadrant 1 and talk about the American Open recap.
Yeah, sounds good. Quadrant 1.
Quadrant 1. All right, here we are in Quadrant 1. So we spent the entire weekend at the American Open, which this year
Hells yes.
was held in Washington, D.C., both for the USAW and the USAPL, USA Powerlifting and USA Weightlifting, which is huge. I mean, for both of those sports to be in the same venue for the American Open, huge for both sports, a great weekend. And, oh, by the way, before we get into Quadrant 1 too far, I do want to say to everybody, so we had some feedback on Facebook, Twitter, and some people that were messaging us and everything, and said they couldn't see us because we were behind those microphones, and we were trying to sound good and do the thing. We're just working this thing out. So what we did is we switched to these headsets, right? So give us some feedback. Do you like the microphones better? We kind of like the sportscaster look, like it's good because we can move around and you guys can hear us. Hopefully you can hear us better. So please give us feedback. Which do you like better? And which do you want us to do? So
do you like to see the gap between my front teeth? Because now you can actually see it.
Now you can see his pretty. He can see his pretty face.
I was really liking to hide behind that screen.
I'm just jealous of your hair.
I know. Everybody is.
That's why I wear a hat all the time. All right. So Quadrant 1, American Open recap.
Yeah, so the USAW got huge this year, right? They in the past 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you're talking about a handful of people, friends, family, stuff like that, seeing their own lifters lift. But now they blew the doors off of the place in D.C.
Huge. It was
huge.
It was a lot of spectators, and you could look out into the audience. And I was talking to some of the spectators. We were roaming around doing interviews, talking to folks, and I would just walk up to random people and just be like, "Hey, like, why are you here? Are you here to see a friend or whatever?" And usually like 80-90% of the time, they didn't know anybody there. They might have been a CrossFitter. They might have been just they lifted, they just were, fitness oriented. So it was a huge mix of people, which was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Right? Yeah, I talked to one of the USAW officials too. And on Friday, so they originally had the two platforms, and they had a side on the walls, and they had walls that kind of came in. And apparently it was standing room only on that day. And so they're like, Friday's the slow day. And so they had to blow out the back wall and then put in a riser and then put more seats in there. And then on Saturday and Sunday, completely jam-packed still, standing room only all the way around.
Oh, yeah. We were standing we were standing in the back watching people most of the time, and the place was full. It was crazy. It was great for the sports. For sure.
And that's all thanks to functional fitness, CrossFit, and now Grid. All intermingling with these sports, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, and we talked to several of the the officials from the USAW and the USAPL, and they were telling us, like, if it wasn't for these other sports, CrossFit, particularly CrossFit. I mean, let's just give credit where it's due, right? CrossFit's been around for over a decade, and it has caused a lot of athletes, a lot of people to get involved, right, into this sport, which is awesome, into weightlifting and to powerlifting. So now you mix in Grid, which is what we're going to talk about, is all the Grid athletes that have transitioned over to these other sports, or maybe not transitioned, but like just mixed it in with their regular programming.
Yeah, unreal too. That what people are discovering is that a lot of gymnastics athletes are really good at lifting some barbells.
I'm going to multitask.
So if you can think about it, just a gymnastics type person, they know where they are in the plane of space, And so when they're lifting a barbell, and I like to call lifting a barbell and the snatch and the clean and jerk is gymnastics with the bar.
Absolutely.
So they know where they are in space and time, and where their body is. So gymnastics people typically make really good weightlifters, and we found that out this weekend, which we'll get into in just a second. So let's talk about the athletes who competed from the NPGL. So you had Ricky Reedus. He is, he's a free agent, formerly from the Miami Surge. And we had Nicole Capurso and Buddy Hitchcock and Christy Adkins, Marco Coppola, and then we also had Sarah Beth Phillips. So just talk about a little bit. Ricky Reedus was in the 94-kilogram weight class. He was, again, formerly a part of the Miami Surge. He was fifth place overall. In his category, he lifted 130 kilograms, which is 286 pounds, by the way, for the snatch.
Yeah, thanks for doing the math, man.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as I've been lifting, I still have to sit there for a minute and do kilos and pounds.
I did that for everybody.
I know.
So 286-pound snatch, I'm not even close to that, and 165-kilogram clean and jerk for a total of 295. which I think is unbelievable, by the way. And he got 5th place overall. And I just want to say also, just qualifying for the American Open is a huge deal in and of itself.
Right. If you're a weightlifter, right, and hopefully we've got a few weightlifters listening to us, not just we want all the Grid fans, and obviously, some other folks from other sports. But if you're a weightlifter, and I've watched weightlifting for years, I'm a USAW national coach. I'm a big fan of weightlifting. Powerlifting is my sport, but if you look at that and you see what it takes to qualify for the American Open, that's no joke.
No joke.
And it's getting harder every year. And for these athletes to basically what I would call like walk on, right? Hey, I qualified and I'm in, right? And they're
they don't even train for weightlifting full time.
Right.
You're talking about athletes that train on the grid. That's a totally different type of training than weightlifters do on a daily basis. I know because my wife is a weightlifter.
Right.
Totally different type of training. And these guys are walking in, been doing CrossFit for a year and a half, or maybe doing even CrossFit under a year. And they're coming into this sport and taking it by storm, turning weightlifting and its programming over on its head. And it's unreal how the two worlds are kind of coming together.
Yeah, it's just growing the sport. It's growing both sports or all the sports. It's great how they're all overlapping now. It's good.
So you got so Buddy Hitchcock, for instance. He was from the San Francisco Fire. He lifted on Sunday. He was a basketball and track star.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. and he was in the 85 kilogram weight class and snatched 270 pounds over his head, 123 kilograms, 146 kilogram for a clean and jerk, which is 321 pounds over his head for a 269 total. The dude ended up getting 12th overall. I mean, 12th overall in your weight category at the American Open is badass.
Yeah, that's pretty killer, man. That's legit.
Right. Then you got Christy Adkins, right? Christy Adkins, she was a lacrosse player and a basketball player.
Yeah.
And then she became
well, let's not forget that
multiple appearances at the CrossFit Games.
Let's not forget she's been to quite a few CrossFit Games.
Right. And a part of the DC Brawlers, which I hear, by the way, she does 3 hours of grid training a day and 3 hours of CrossFit training a day.
Yeah. That's crazy.
6 hours a day.
Yeah.
She is
and she has a full-time job as a nurse.
Part-time job as a nurse. I talked to her a little bit.
Yeah. Well, everything's part-time when you're a pro athlete.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
So she weighed. She was in the 63 kilogram weight class. So stop me if you've heard of these people who she actually competed against at the American Open. Nicole Capurso from the Miami Surge. Stop me. Okay, yeah, you heard
I'm
that.
not stopping you.
Gretchen Kittleberger. Some people have heard of her. Oh, and then there's Sam Briggs.
Sam.
Sam Briggs. Anybody recognize those names? Yeah, huge in the functional fitness world.
Right.
But Christy Adkins, she ended up getting 14th overall. Also a badass. She was able to snatch 145 pounds, 66 kilograms, 95 kilograms, and 290 pounds on the clean jerk, and 161 total.
You know what I think is cool about that too, because I saw both Christy and Gretchen lift. So Danny, Tyler, and I, we were all over the American Open, so we weren't always together, and we were all looking at different things, talking to different people. But I did try to make it back because Gretchen and Christy are both local gals here in the DC area.
What up, Christy and Gretchen?
Exactly. So we've been following them forever. We love watching them succeed and do well in all these different sports. But it was really cool because you could see the kind of the humility, like, they came in with a humble attitude, which I think a lot of people in functional fitness, CrossFit, grid, you see this a lot in this kind of athlete. You don't necessarily see in other pro sports.
No.
Humility, right? Humility is not something the NBA
typically
is known for, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
look at me, look at my bling.
Right. And these athletes are performing. They're performing in multiple sports, and they're performing well. And what I saw from them was this happiness that they performed for them. They got personal records, PRs. They did really well for them, right? So they were happy with that. Now, they placed well. They were at the American Open, and they placed, right? That's crazy.
Getting a total at the American Open, badass.
Yeah. And there's people that have bombed out, right, that didn't do – I mean – they did a great job.
Let's not rub it into those people who bombed out.
Yeah, there's 8.
If you go in front of a couple hundred people and try to do 3 lifts total, right, nearing your 1 rep max on a snatch, that's nearing your body weight.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's some pressure.
Yeah, I've bombed out in the meet. It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
But no, I just wanted to point out that it was great to watch. That kind of humility, that humbleness, that I think we've seen in kind of the functional fitness world. it's still there. Like, here they are in this nice national platform, in front of all these people, and they're just having fun, and they're doing really well, and they should be proud of that.
Yep, absolutely. So let's talk about Nicole Capurso. She's from the Miami Surge, which, by the way, we got to talk to some of these athletes and got a couple interviews, a few questions with some of them. That's going to be on a separate side kind of project that we have outside of the episodes.
Yeah,
so
it's something
stay tuned.
We're kind of looking at called Off the GridCast.
Right, Off the GridCast.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. That'll either come right before this or right after this. So I don't know which one's going to come around, but you should also check us out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere you possibly can, because you might miss something if you're not subscribed to those. What am I trying to think of? Help me out here.
Social media.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Nicole Capurso from the Miami Surge. So she was a D1 basketball player for Hofstra.
Jeez.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, right.
She just joined CrossFit about 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago. And she ended up placing 9th overall in her weight category this year, which I think is incredible. She was able to put up can you move to your right a little bit? Thank you very much.
I was getting in the way of the notes. You guys don't think Danny memorizes all this
There's
stuff.
no way I memorize the numbers here, okay? So she's a utility player with the Miami Surge, and she was able to put up 167 pounds, so 76 kilograms. So she was able to put up overhead for the snatch, which I think, again, is unbelievable. Her weight is 63 kilogram category.
Wow.
So just think about that. That's over your body weight. That's 110, 115% of your body weight, putting it up over your head on a snatch. That's unbelievable, especially for someone who's only done this for a couple of years, because she was a basketball player prior to that. So then for the clean and jerk, she got 94 kilograms, 207 pounds for 170 total, and the 9th overall in that category. Again, she was in the category with Gretchen Kittleberger and Sam Briggs and Christy Adkins.
The fact that a basketball player from college is snatching at the American Open, I think is incredible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that I played high school sports. I played a little bit in college. Not Division I, but I played a little bit, and you didn't have I don't know. There wasn't that kind of crossover from a sport like basketball. I played a lot of soccer. I played a little football. There wasn't a crossover to things like weightlifting, right? We didn't do a lot of that, at least not in our programs. It's incredible to see that kind of transition, and not only the transition, but they're coming back to, whatever it is they're doing, right? For these athletes, it's grid.
So I talked to a couple of officials from the USAW while I was there, and just before functional fitness came around and CrossFit came around, a lot of NFL players and football players were starting to look at the weightlifting world.
Right.
So they were the first ones to kind of say, hey, this is going to help us out with our sport. And then the functional fitness took it by storm. Speaking of that, actually, Marco Coppola from the Miami Surge was also down there in the 105 kilogram weight class. He was a pro arena league football player.
Nice.
And he's a box owner now in Texas. He ended up getting 7th overall, which I thought was fantastic as well. But the big story here, the huge story, is she is such a sweetheart. Okay? She is definitely the NPGL's sweetheart. Sarah Beth Phillips from the New York Rhinos. She was a former Olympic hopeful gymnast. Okay, and then she basically, I read an article and talked to her a little bit about this. So she had some friends of hers that just didn't want to do the gymnastics training anymore, and so she kind of followed suit and regretted making that decision later on in life. But now the grid and CrossFit itself has been able to give her that passion again that she lost when she left gymnastics as a kid. So anyway, her lifting coach is actually from the Phoenix Rise, and he says that her grid training helped her out in her weightlifting, and her weightlifting helps her out in the grid training, which is awesome. So this little fireball in the 58 kilogram weight class, which, by the way, is an enormously competitive weight class.
Yeah, there's a lot of ladies in that weight class.
Oh, and they're all very good.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a hugely competitive weight class. She ended up getting first place, gold. This former gymnast, gold. Okay? And by the way, she's an intensive care nurse. It's not like she has all the time in the world to be able to do this kind of stuff, right? I read that she actually trains at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Barely sees her husband, kind of says, "Oh, hey, you're there," and then that's it. And then they kind of pass by.
She's off the training,
right? Because she's constantly training. He apparently is a huge supporter.
So let's pause here for a second, because we talked about this a couple episodes ago, where we started talking about how Grid is allowing for these specialists, right, to kind of blossom. So if you're a bodyweight specialist, or if you're a barbell, a strength specialist, you've got a place in the Grid, and you don't have to be everything to every. But here we're talking about a girl who anybody would peg as a bodyweight specialist. She's a gymnast, right? So they're saying, hey, great, we throw her out there for the legless rope climbs, and for the handstand push-ups, and the handstand walks, and the butterfly pull-ups. Oh no! How about we put her out there for the clean ladder?
Yeah,
right? Because she's going to be money, right?
Yeah, she said that as the season progressed, she ended up being more of a utility player,
right? Which
totally makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to be the badass that actually wins at the American Open in the 58 kilogram weight category, you better be damn clean in that bar, especially in the clean ladder, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. It's such a great thing to see these different sports overlapping like that.
So anyway, so the American Open we had an amazing weekend. Talked to a lot of people. It's amazing to see the sport grow, and I know that next year is going to be in Dallas, and I'm sure we have plans to kind of go down there in Dallas and follow the NPGL athletes as well. So, but the next quadrant, we actually ran into the owners of the Caffeine and Kilos, Danny and Charlie. So without further ado, I think we should head on over to quadrant 2.
Let's get on over to quadrant 2.
All right, see ya. Hey, Conan, will you read me the story of the night before Christmas?
How about after quadrant 4, dude? All right.
Okay.
All right, here we are. We're in quadrant 2. So, again, we were at the American Open, and we were talking to Danny and Charlie from Caffeine and Kilos.
What up, guys?
Those guys are awesome. We really appreciate them taking time out to do the interview and everything. But all right, so here's how they explain it. So I was kind of trying to figure out like how to explain them, but I think they kind of said it best where they're like, hey, if you like caffeine and lifting heavy shit, right, picking up heavy shit, I'm like, I'm in, right?
That's them.
Yeah, I mean, if you put beer in the middle, then but
I totally get it.
Yeah, we're in. So these guys are cool. They're going to do an interview, and we're going to talk to them out in the American Open, and stay tuned for that.
Hey guys, so I'm with the guys from the Caffeine and Kilos. So what do you guys think about the Grid in comparison to CrossFit?
So I think it's interesting. I think it's very similar, but it has differences. One thing about that, I think it's great for CrossFit and great for sports. We really believe, and especially in business, and this is very relevant and very true in sports as well, is that competition is what drives progress and drives progression. So CrossFit didn't have really any competition. They could do whatever they want, and that sometimes is good, and that sometimes is bad, all right? And so what was their motivation to get better other than just please the fans? So now that the Grid's there, that is competition. They may say it's not, but it is. They have very similar athletes. The same people are watching both things, and that competition has effectively driven CrossFit forward to be more spectator friendly. So I think that the Grid has actually been a boon to CrossFit and has only made it better, more spectator friendly, and just a better sport overall.
I completely agree.
Well, that's that.
So, so we're here.
Nice talking to you.
We're here at the American Open, and so I don't know if you guys know, but the American Open is comprised of the powerlifting on one side, and then we have weightlifting on the other side, USAW. So, how do you think that an environment like this helps out with CrossFit and the Grid?
Well, I think that competition is healthy for everybody on the aspect of putting athletes in a position to be able to compete, right? So we're a big sponsor of USA Powerlifting now. We sponsor this event. We also sponsor USA Weightlifting. We sponsored the Opens as well, or the American Open here. One of the big things that we see is that giving people an opportunity to see different ways of competing allows them also to find what they're good at. So there's a lot of athletes that found out that, CrossFit and those longer time durations of workouts might not be the best for them, but they're really good at sprint workouts. So sometimes CrossFit athletes go, well, I might not ever get to the games, or I might just be a preliminary regional athlete. The Grid, though, is more appealing to me because I can move heavy weights fast, but as soon as I hit that 50s workout or that 100s workout, I just blow up. So maybe they see a better opportunity there. Or maybe there's some athletes that are in CrossFit that say, hey, I really like Olympic weightlifting because out of weight, CrossFit, my favorite thing is when I get to lift. So there's also been a lot of CrossFit athletes that she's had the opportunity to go to weightlifting and go, wow, I'm actually really good at this. One of our girls that we coach, she competes out of my gym. Actually, today she went 5 for 6, hit meet PR on the snatch, clean, jerk, and total. Sweet. It's her 3rd weightlifting meet ever. Her 2nd weightlifting meet ever is when she qualified for this, and she does strictly CrossFit. I mean, she does do some weight training and she develops herself there, but it shows that it gives more opportunities for the athletes to hone in their skills to be in a competitive edge. And so I think they show different ways that you could compete in each one of these areas, and certain athletes can go, well, I really want to specialize in this, or I like this about that, or just looking at a way of just being able to develop the athlete and say, now I have multiple times throughout the year that I can compete. Because for a lot of CrossFitters, right now is technically their quote-unquote off-season for like heavy Metcon, maybe even grid athletes now that the season's over. So some of these athletes that really want to get good and still keep a competitive edge, they can come to a powerlifting meet or a weightlifting meet, still be moving the bar and putting themselves in those those stress environments where it's like, I have to make this to beat this person, or I have to make this to stay in competition. So I think the more you can get athletes to compete, no matter what it is, it's better for them and the growth of the sports.
Were you guys into weightlifting and powerlifting before CrossFit existed?
Yes and no. So Charlie and I both have a background in sports and different sports. So Charlie played a lot of football. That was his main sport through high school. My main thing was wrestling. I also threw for track and field and some other stuff also. But I had a track coach. All the throwers, we would go in the weight room every day, and he had us doing snatches and cleans and jerks, and so I had that benefit. So even when I got out of high school, I wasn't doing CrossFit yet, but I would do whatever bodybuilding through 21s, near curls, but I'd still do some cleans, do some snatches, that type of thing. Yeah, but then in 2008 or 2007, you got to chase the pump. You know what I mean? And even if you're doing some cleans, I live by a code, and part of that code is I always got time for a set of 21s. That's right. You know what I mean? If there's not a gun show in town, I don't want any part of it. Yeah. So we were doing that, and then when I started doing CrossFit, I was doing that, and then that's what I really liked about it, is it had the snatch and clean and jerk, that stuff involved. So then I think it was kind of a natural progression for me to end up now I compete in weightlifting and not competing in CrossFit at all.
How much have you seen this sport, the weightlifting and powerlifting, grow since CrossFit and the introduction to CrossFit?
I think that.
Oh, come on.
I think for me too, everyone knows, but for me, like, CrossFit is what's introduced me to so many different ways of training, and I have such an appreciation for that, specifically to CrossFit. Through CrossFit, I learned about the Olympic lifts. Through CrossFit, I learned more about gymnastics. Through CrossFit, it even made me run, which is a miracle. But it was
nope, don't like to run.
But for a lot of these athletes too, having a sport like CrossFit that challenges you consistently to learn so many new things, every athlete's going to have something that, even though they don't want specialists, everyone's going to have athletes that have a specialty in something, and so it provides them the opportunity to go, well, I either want to continue being good at CrossFit and just hammer out my weaknesses, or they say, hey, you know what, I found I'm really good at this, and now I want to compete in this, or I'll still work on my CrossFit and I'll do this because I'm good at it. So I think that's another thing too.
And you look at an athlete like Buddy Hitchcock. Buddy was on the Caffeine Kilos regional team. Yeah. All right, for CrossFit.
How do we do?
And they got 4th in the NorCal region.
Is that tough region?
Holy crap, that's awesome.
So 4th in the Northern California region, and on his team also is Ashley Bieber, who competed today.
Who else is on that team?
Charlie Zamora.
Oh!
And so who's competing as well. So 3 people from that regional team are all here competing. And so Charlie, since then, has really concentrated on weightlifting, and that's how he got his qualifying total to lift here. Ashley has been concentrating on CrossFit. She has some aspirations that goes in individual, so she's doing that and is lifting here kind of for fun. Buddy went into the grid, had a very successful grid season, is actually kind of known as like a gymnastics specialist type thing. However, for a gymnastics specialist, he's also lifting in the A session in about 2 hours in a weightlifting meet today.
Ranked 8th.
And so, yeah, he's ranked 8th coming into the meet. And so you can say, oh, well, you know, if the generalist could never be good at these specific things, well, how good could he be if he only did this? Who knows? But that's not what he likes to do, you know?
Yeah.
He likes
well, you find a lot of people who are,
grid, and that's what he's doing.
A lot of people who were gymnastics-centric first anyway, become badass lifters.
Well,
Ashley was a gymnast.
Ashley was a gymnast, and then also wrestling has a huge carry. There's a lot of high-level weightlifters wrestlers that have a wrestling background, and so like wrestling, gymnastics,
kill themselves.
it's great. Well,
It's all
you know,
about body
it is too.
awareness,
It's
right?
body awareness, proprioception. It's knowing where your ass is in space. You know, that's what gymnasts and wrestlers really have in common. Even though the sports are very different, that's one thing they have in common, and both those kind of people really excel in weightlifting. So it's interesting you talk about three kinds of people: the CrossFitter, the gridder, and the person who went to weightlifting. On that NorCal Regionals team, you have all three. CrossFit, quit doing CrossFit, due to weightlifting. Ashley kept doing CrossFit, did weightlifting for fun. Buddy, who went to grid, but now is doing weightlifting. So all those categories we discussed earlier are all represented just with the team that Caffeine and Kilos brought to the meet here.
So bringing it back to grid, are you guys, since Buddy was part of the San Francisco Fire, are you big fans of the San Francisco Fire then?
We're such big fans. We've been practicing grid all week. The other day we were carrying a box, Charlie and the light. We only had like 7 seconds, so ran out. He turned with the box, so he tapped Buddy and said grid, 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 sprinted across the street, dropped it, turned, and said, time, grid,
out,
Yeah.
grid, right?
all four quadrants.
Exactly,
There
that's
you
what
go.
happened. And he didn't get hit, even though he moved a little slower than he did when he
You
was.
dodged some cars, though, right?
Yeah, he dodged, dip, dive, and dodge, but he made it through.
Right,
So
right.
big
The
supporter-
5 D's of dodgeball.
Yeah, big supporter still across. I still, occasionally will do workouts. I still coach it, but my focus has been on weightlifting. But with saying that, one of the cool things with seeing Buddy and like you said, all three of these athletes doing different things and focusing on different things for this part of their life, for their transition, it's really awesome. And when we look at it with Buddy is that what a phenomenal athlete to be able to do so many things well. So with him also being a generalist and especially at the same time, like Dan was saying, how scary would it be when Buddy decides just to do one thing? But a guy like Buddy, because he's so good at so many things, why limit to him to what he can do? And that's why I think that when I was talking about the guy that doesn't like the hundreds workout, that's Buddy. But we all know that actually Buddy competes and trains out of Danny's gym. And he's been doing such a good job there, not only as a coach, but just as an athlete as well. And his ability not only to have the support of CrossFit Excel. I mean, we went to the first grid match for the San Francisco Fire. Because we're from Northern California, a lot of people we know and compete against were on that team. They had an entire section that was just from Danny's affiliate supporting grid and grid athletes, which was really cool.
Going back to how I mentioned grid being good for CrossFit, that's not just for the athletes and pushing the sport forward, but also for the fans. Like I said, a bunch of people from CrossFit Excel is my affiliate. A bunch of members were mine, a couple other guys, Terry Dickman and Nick Hobby, is our affiliate. We had an entire bus of people going to watch the match. That's great for the community of my gym. That's going to grow my gym, which can expose more people to CrossFit. So it's all going to each other, you know.
Chad from the San Francisco Fire is probably one of my best friends. He's like a brother to me, even though he's a little bit older than me. He's a badass.
Uncle, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like a cool uncle. No, he's a brother. But Chad is actually, he was the first 40-year-old athlete, Masters athlete signed to the grid. And San Francisco Fire picked him up. One of the hardest working men you'd ever meet. He went to the CrossFit Games this year. I believe he took 7th or 6th in the Masters. I feel bad because I'm his coach.
And he's been, what, four times on team?
4 times on team at the CrossFit Games. First guy signed to the grid as a Masters athlete. He trains CrossFit. He trains for the grid. And there's no problems. My gym goes out and supports him as well. And I think that what everyone needs to focus on is not getting caught up onto what gang you're from, but understanding that we're all a part of this thing. And that's what Caffeine and Kilos, our company, is as a lifestyle. We support everyone that likes to drink caffeine and lift weights. And I think that more people in fitness should say, hey, you know what? I don't care if you do grid. I don't care if you do CrossFit or weightlifting. You know what we all like to do? Push ourselves to our limits and become better. And I think that's what people need to focus on. And for us as a company, we focus on that so much. That's what's driven our company to be what it is. Because to say that we don't sponsor grid or we don't support and sponsor weightlifting or CrossFit because this person will fight with this person. So you know what? We're the guy that came into the playground and said, hey, look, guys, we could all play tag. You know what I mean? At one point, we're all going to be it, but it's not about picking sides. It's about having fun playing a game. And this game that we're playing is life. And you have to get along to make that happen.
That is very well said. Very well said. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us on the podcast. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice, man. Grid, I'm out.
Grid, out.
Time.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, so I want to thank Danny and Charlie from Caffeine and Kilos for that kick-ass interview. You know what's insane? Oh, you're filling up another beer. Holy crap. I guess it's a little long episode.
Don't try this at home, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a professional.
You know, it was crazy that we ran into them at the American Open, and I'm really happy that we did. And thank you again, Danny and Charlie, for meeting up with us and explaining what you guys are all about. So without further ado, though, we have Chris and Mattie Rasnake from Tennessee, and they are the ones that we are featuring in the Road to the NPGL.
Yeah, so we're going to take as best we can. We're going to follow these guys, hoping to get down to see them in their training. Watch them do the training, watch them in their box, doing their thing. Because here's a couple that I think a lot of people out there can really associate with, resonate with. They're trying to make it, right? And they got jobs, they got family, they got things that they're trying to. They got real life.
Oh, real life.
Real life's in the way.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make their way into the pro grid league, like a lot of other athletes. And so we're just trying to give an insight, like a little human interest story there. And it's a great couple, and we're hoping you guys are going to feel the same way.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody who these people are, Mattie Rasnake, we ran into her at the SAGL, and she's the one that did the 410-pound farmer carry down the entire grid length, which was insane.
Yeah, and that's just heavy.
Yeah, just think about that. Heavy. 410 pounds. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this up for about 50 feet.
Nobody else did it. I mean, she just walked the entire grid like it was nothing.
Yeah,
Boom.
So check out Chris and Mattie in the next quadrant number 3. Hey guys, welcome to quadrant 3. I have distinct pleasure to introduce to you guys Mattie and Chris Rasnake from the beautiful state of Tennessee. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey guys.
So this is part of our off the grid segments that we're going to be doing with the show. Something that's very special, near and dear to my heart. Something called Road to the NPGL series with Chris and Mattie Rasnake. So this is the first of many talks that we're going to have. We're introducing you guys on one of our regular episodes, but then it's going to be called Off the GridCast in the future, okay? So you're going to see that in specials that are going to be running all through this off season, and we're going to watch them hopefully make a team in the NPGL in the near future. All right, so you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. So having met the two of you at the SAGL, I know that both of you are amazing barbell specialists, but are you guys trying to do anything else other than barbells, work on your weaknesses? And if so, what are they, and what are you doing to work on those weaknesses?
I definitely work on my weaknesses because I know body weight is not my high point. So just recently I've learned to do more than 1 or 2 muscle ups at a time.
Hey!
Yeah, especially handstand push-ups and pistols, and pull-ups, doing more than 15 to 20. So I mean, definitely, I know in the back of my head that's my least strong point.
What about you, Chris?
I definitely work on it.
Absolutely. I mean, being a larger athlete in this sport, it's definitely been a challenge for the gymnastics. And of course, I like the barbell better. I'd rather go to work with 155 pounds than doing 10, 15 muscle-ups any day.
Right. So did you guys compete any sports growing up, or is this the first time trying to get into a big sport?
I played volleyball all through high school and all through college.
What college did you go to?
Martin Methodist College in Pulaski, Tennessee.
Okay.
So it was a small school, but we had a great team and a great coach. She played in the Olympics. So I've always played competitive sports, but it's always been volleyball. And then, of course, weightlifting. So.
Awesome. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I played football all through high school and college. I played at an NAIA school in Virginia, UVA-wise. It was great. I mean, I love competitive sports the way it is.
What was your position?
I was a center then. I was probably around 310 pounds. I was a big boy then.
Yeah, spry little guy.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So how did you guys discover grid, and what got you interested in competing in grid?
Of course, I saw the NPGL first because that came out. But we have a close friend, Alex Anderson, that trains in Knoxville, and we've done competitions with him before. And he didn't get us into it, but he got us looking at him and be like, man, I want to do that one day, And it almost was like, man, you can do that one day. So kind of just worked towards that. And then the SAGL came up, and we put a team together with the people that we train with, and it kind of just fell that way.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. So I know you guys have everyday lives. You have everyday successes, failures, heartbreak, but also celebrations as well. How do you guys fit in your training routine into your daily lives? Because really what it's like to me is you guys are regular working people now trying to do something that's professional, and that's really difficult to do. So how do you guys fit this stuff in?
Definitely. I mean, I make it a priority, but I do work a full-time job. I'm a parole officer with the state of Tennessee, and I have a 4-year-old full-time, and of course that's a full-time job.
Of course.
Right. But I kind of just fit it in because I know I want to do it, so I make the time for it, even if my little daughter is sitting there next to me while I'm lifting. I mean, I just get it in when I can, and it's daily when I get it in. So I don't skip a day. So I mean, I take rest days, but I don't skip things I have to do, even if it's easier to say I'm going home. I don't want to do this.
Do you find her trying to go pick up the bar what mommy does?
Oh yeah, she's like, I want to do this, and then she gets the bar off the wall and wants to put plates on it, and she's already picking up a 25-pound medicine ball. So
well, they have those little kid plates. You trying to get those little kid plates?
I don't even think she'd like that. I think she wants the real thing.
Hey, good for her, right?
Yeah.
And what about you, Chris?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I run a box here in Johnson City and train some one-on-one clients as well, and that takes up the majority of my time. I do a little property management for a client of mine, so it takes up a lot of time. I mean, we train as a team a lot with our SAGL team and our CrossFit team as well.
Tennessee 10, right? Tennessee 10.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, we find time for it every Saturday, every Sunday. Usually Maddie's taking her lunch break to come and train with us. So, I mean, it's always we fit it in. I mean, it's difficult, especially when you got those double days. You need to get 2 or 3 little wads in 2 different times. You got people coming in. It's tough. It is. But you love it. You make time for it.
Are you guys doing your own programming, or do you have someone else doing the programming for you?
We follow OPT, but right now we're just kind of doing our own thing. Kind of everybody working on their own little weaknesses right now. If they have to adjust their weight, get cut, a little bit cut down for, of course, the Open coming up. So we're just veered kind of. We all stay together, but we're all still, we'll WOD together. But then there's always something else we stay afterwards and we have to work on. So make time for all of it.
Can you guys do me a favor real quick? Can you turn the computer a little bit towards Mattie? Just a little bit. There you go. And then squeeze in a little bit more, Chris, if you can.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. So if you wanted to say something to all the teams to say why you should be in the NPGL or why you deserve to be on a team, what would it be?
I think I would bring to the team, I'm definitely a hard worker. If somebody's picking up 10 more pounds than me next to them, I'm going to pick it up too. I always want to push to be the best, even if I'm not the fastest. I'll still at least try whatever I need to do. So I feel like I would be a big asset to the team, and I'm strong, and I don't really let anybody back me down. So I'd be good.
All right. I believe you.
Yeah. Trying living with that for a while.
What about you, Chris?
I feel I'm more of a leader in not this span of a team like I'm going to be yelling good job and hooray. I'm more of a silent leader. I'm going to lead by example and do whatever I can to make it happen for the team, not necessarily myself, and sacrifice when I have to.
It's like what you hear in the NFL or any other sport. You're talking about like a locker room leader, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The guy that's going to show up and go to work every day and not complain and just do what you have to do.
So what is your opinion on the grid score system now that you've given it a shot a little bit?
It's definitely different, but definitely, short workouts just, so you can get your score. It's definitely some things you're good at, and there's some of them that you're not good at. So it shows both weaknesses and, strengths. So, I don't think it's bad at all. I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about these testers. It's got a lot of good barbell stuff in it. Of course, we're both pretty decent at the barbell. Of course, we're not looking forward to the 90 seconds of muscle ups. It's not like we're going to hit grand slams on that one.
But I don't think people expect you to either, because you guys are saying you are barbell specialists.
I'll do 4 and 5 and sit down. So I'm good.
Hey, it's more than what I can do.
I'm not going to be known for, hey, go out there and give me 30 muscle ups unbroken. So
right. So tell me a little about how you guys met.
We met in a gym, of course.
Of course.
Go figure.
When we lived in Nashville, Chris ran a couple Globo gyms, and I would be home for the summer off season and go in there and train, and it kind of just went from there.
How long ago was that?
We'll be married 7 years in February. We've been together for 10, so
oh, wow.
10 years ago.
Yeah, long time.
That's awesome. And you said you had a 4-year-old girl?
Bella.
And Bella, has she done anything crazy lately that made you guys laugh or kept you up at night?
She likes to get up and down in the middle of the night, and I don't know why she does. It's like she's missing out on something. And then the other day, she was at his parents' house, and his mom told her to do something, and she goes, "No, Mama, you're stupid." So it's really not. No. It's really not funny. It's really not funny, but it is funny.
So what is her favorite thing to do at the box?
Play with the chalk.
Oh, so she makes little chalk pictures on the ground?
Oh, yeah. All the time. And she has to have chalk, and then she'll go over to the bar. So she's like ready to lift.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for her.
She likes
to take after mom and dad.
Yeah, absolutely. She likes doing stone to shoulders with the medicine ball.
Hey, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got that on video around there.
Yeah, we'll line the 5-pound up, the 10-pound up, and the 20-pound up, and she'll just go down and pick them up.
Oh, sweet. Do you time her? Do you time her to see if she can get faster? She goes, no. All right, guys. Well, it's time for the gridlock portion of the interview. And so here we go. You ready for the 10 questions? It's going to go Mattie first and then Chris, all right?
All right.
All right.
All right. Only weightlifting or powerlifting?
Weightlifting.
Chris?
Ollie.
Okay.
Ollie.
Cake with frosting or cheesecake?
Cake with frosting.
Cake with frosting.
Full House or Family Matters?
Full House.
Family Matters.
So you have to fight one of these two. Who would it be? Mike Tyson in his prime or Chuck Norris with his sweet roundhouse kicks?
Mike Tyson.
Chuck.
So the nerd in me has to ask you guys, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Neither.
Star Wars, man.
Yeah, there you go.
No question.
No,
so,
I pray to God it doesn't come on.
So what superpower would you rather have? Super speed or the ability to fly?
Ability to fly.
Fly.
Heck
you
yeah,
get there
right?
faster.
Damn right. 80s music or 90s music?
90s music. Rap.
80s. Come
Rap.
on.
Rap. Well, you're going to like question number 9 then. I'll get there in a second. So who better between you two is the better dancer?
I am.
Whatever. Both of us are horrible.
I want to see you
we
bust
try to
through.
act like we know what we're doing.
I'm like crazy white girl can't.
So, I tried to tell you guys at the bar the other night that it was not a good idea to challenge someone to an epic rap battle, but you did challenge someone to an epic rap battle. Who was it, Eminem or Dr. Dre?
I'd say Dr. Dre.
Dre.
All right. And then this is a multiple option question. Okay, so it's your favorite Christmas music or movie. Sorry, favorite Christmas movie. Is it Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase, Scrooge with Bill Murray, It's a Wonderful Life, Love Actually, A Christmas Story, or Santa Claus? Which one was it? Or is it none of the above? Go ahead.
Christmas Vacation.
Vacation, bro.
I'm seeing Christmas Vacation tomorrow night at a theater nearby, so I'm pretty excited about it.
It's classic.
Heck yeah, it is. All right, well, thanks for joining us, guys. Mattie and Chris, I can't wait to see you guys in January and with more episodes to follow.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, that was a hell of an interview with Chris and Mattie. I cannot wait to follow them on the road to the NPGL.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I mean, they're a cool couple, and it's going to be fun watching them hopefully make it into the pro leagues. And, we're going to be watching them every step of the way. So let's talk about what's coming up. So
First, Conan, what do you want for Christmas this year?
What do I want for Christmas?
You know what I want?
What do you want?
Some Cinnabons.
I love Cinnabons. Who doesn't love Cinnabons?
I love Cinnabons.
If you guys, if you're listening to this, and there's Cinnabons all over DC.
All
They're
over.
everywhere. So we love Cinnabons, if you can't tell.
Yeah, sorry. All right, go ahead.
Well, I lost my train of thought. All right, so what we're doing is taking it. Here we go. We're talking about the future.
Yes.
The future of Cinnabons?
Future of Cinnabons, future of the GridCast, future of us.
Yeah. So, all right, here's the
love
deal.
you.
This is episode 4.
Jesus.
It's amazing. We're at episode 4. We're trying to do one a week. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go out with a finale episode, episode 5.
Winter finale.
A winter finale. Yeah, not forever. We're going to go out with a winter finale episode. So we're going to do another episode. I think we're going to have some great guests. I think you guys are going to like it. We're getting everything set up for that. But here's the deal.
We have some real special lined up.
Yeah. But here's the deal. What we're going to do is we're going to take January off from just doing the regular episodes. So what we need some time to get some equipment together, do some things, because we're going mobile at the end of January. So during January, though, we might do some off-the-GridCast kind of stuff. We'll be throwing out some special shows and some different things, but not a regular episode, okay? So what we're going to do, though, take a nice we're saying we're taking a break in January. We're going to
I think we'll be more busy during January.
We're going to be busy as hell, but it just won't be on camera.
Right.
All right? But here's the deal. January 31st in Boston, Massachusetts, we're going to kick off the Pro Days. We're going to be live there at the Pro Days.
I can't wait.
I know.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a blast. So we're going to be interviewing people, talking to people, doing all kinds of stuff. We're going to do a regular episode there. And here's the deal. We're probably going to make 4 or 5 of the Pro Days. We're looking at Boston, New York, Charlotte, definitely DC, Baltimore. We're going to be there. Yeah. And San Francisco, the last one. So definitely the
Fingers
first one.
Fingers crossed,
the
San
last
Francisco, please.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
San Francisco.
So you guys keep a watch out. We'll keep you busy, with some GridCast stuff during January. We'll give you some stuff to look at and talk about. But it won't be regular episodes, and then that just gives us some time to get ready, and we will be back at it 100% come Pro Days. And we're going from the Pro Days right into the Combine. The league has not released, as of the recording of this, where the Combine is going to be, but I guarantee you we're going to be there.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Combines. You guys are going to see Pro Days leading into the Combines, and then we're going to have plenty of stuff to talk about leading into the draft, because the draft is going to be ridiculous. We're going to have all of these teams. We got the regular teams, we got the expansion teams, all these things going on at once. Lots of athletes involved, lots of coaches. It's going to be cool.
I'm getting jazzed up.
I know, right? It's going to be cool. So just stay tuned for the next episode. Please, with this episode, do us a favor, share it with your friends, talk to your buddies, move it around.
Rate us on iTunes.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's another thing we haven't talked about too much.
Right.
So we are on iTunes. This is a video podcast, but we are on an audio-only version on iTunes. If you go there, rate us, if you like us, give us a 5-star review. That helps us maybe later be, what is it called, news and noteworthy?
Yep.
Yeah, so, it spreads us around a little bit more. Show us a little love. And
subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you
like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, all that jazz.
So we're kind of begging right now.
And we also try to do different content, though, for every single one of those sites. It's not just going to be the same kind of things just drilling into your face. We try to do different stuff. So
yeah, all those social media sites, we spread it around a little bit different to each place. And at the end of the day, the bottom line is, come the Pro Days, January 31st, our website will kick off live. So right now, if you go to thegridcast.com, you'll see pretty much right now you just sign up for the newsletter. But let me tell you, that is the way to keep track of us, because if you have our newsletter, you'll get an email once a week or so. We're not going to blast you with a lot of spam. Once a week or so, we'll just tell you what we're doing, and you can go to all the different links and all the different shows we're doing. But that's going to be the way to keep to follow us. Now, starting around January 31st, though, our site will go live, where we'll have all the audio versions, all the video versions, all that stuff is going to be in one place at thegridcast.com. So come check us out. Thanks for following us so far. We've got so many people that have given us, a lot of positive feedback, and we appreciate it. We thanks everybody for even tuning in at all.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
I have a problem here. My beer's getting low, so you know what that means.
Time to go.
Clean up your jerks and snatches, and always drink your beer in batches and dominate your grid matches.
Happy holidays.